Hey y'all, welcome back to Mattie's Kitchen, and today I'll be making you all some spaghetti. I'm not gonna say it's old fashioned because I'm using some things that I didn't even know exist when my mother was making spaghetti. But what I'm gonna start off with is my meat, a hamburger meat, and this is a 93%. Mostly you don't have to, but when I went to the store, they didn't have the 93. 83 is really good for spaghetti because you got a little fat, and now 93 has less fat in it, and I always mostly use 93 for hamburgers, a Salisbury steak. And so I'll be using, the noodles, I'll be using whole grain, 100% wheat, because it's better for you than the regular spaghetti, because like my dietitian say, it's best to use brown if you can. And when you're using this brown spaghetti, I'm telling you, it tastes the same. Don't think it don't, it tastes the same. And I'll be having tomato sauce, not just a plain can of tomato sauce, just get that. And I'll also be using two tomatoes, and these are petite diced tomatoes. And my vegetables is a green pepper or a bell pepper. I got some garlic, a yellow onion. Okay, and then I got some thyme. I got basil, sweet basil, and oregano. And here's some brown sugar. When you should always use some brown sugar because that takes the acid out of it. It helps the acid out of the tomatoes and stuff. That make it taste better. Because sometimes when you don't use a little sugar, I always use brown because it tastes kind of funny to me. It helps it. So here's my chopped up garlic. Here's my chopped up peppers, and here's my chopped up onions. Okay, y'all, I got my stove on kind of high, and once it starts cooking, I'm gonna cut it down low. And to me, it's best to kind of start your meat and get some of this fat off of it, and then add your vegetables, because you want the vegetable to season into your meat. Because one thing about it, when you cook your meat, now this is not going to have as much fat as the other meat is, because like I said, it was 93%. Now, since when you're cooking your meat, you want to drain some of the fat off, then add your vegetable. Don't let it cook long, because in other words, you season your meat, because you're going to pour this out, and most times you're pouring your season out. So you're going to let it cook a little bit. Once it cooks, you're going to drain it, and then you're going to put your vegetables in there. And that's what I'm doing now, letting the stove, breaking it up some. And you want to break it up really good, because once it starts cooking, it's easy to break up. So I'm going to let this cook for a while and let it start cooking. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to drain some of that fat off of it, and then I'm going to add the vegetables in it. And one thing I think I forgot to say was bay leaf. Once it starts cooking, I'm going to put a couple of leaves in there, because that helps it too. Kind of like Italian. This is probably going to be some like Italian spaghetti. Okay, y'all, the first thing I'm going to do is season it. I cooked a little bit to get some of the red out of it. I'm going to season it. Come on, salt. Put some salt on there. Just a little bit. You eyeball your food. You don't have to measure, because you know when it's too much salt. If it's not enough, you always can add, but you can't delete. And when I'm cooking my spaghetti, y'all might not know that I always put my spaghetti in the oven. And the reason I put it in the oven, because you don't have to worry about it burning. Have you cooked spaghetti and at the bottom of the pot it got to burn? And sometimes you get that taste in it. So those are the vegetables I'll be using, salt and pepper. And the other vegetables will be, the onion is the main thing that you use when you're cooking spaghetti. You have to have onions, because that's all my mother used was onion. And you don't use all your onion because you season the meat, and you can also turn around and season your sauce. So I just use some of the onions. And I'm using the pepper, the green peppers, bell pepper. Most people call it bell. I call it green, but it's also bell. Put that in there. And this is what makes spaghetti. You know how you look on a can and you got the vegetables. They have green peppers and they have onions. That's what most of you see. And garlic. Now here's my garlic. So I'm going to work this in there. And you know what? I didn't have to drain this. I guess it's okay to use that 93. I didn't have to drain this much. But anyway, I'm still going to drain. I'm going to let this cook in there. I'm going to put a little bit more seasoning in there now. See, I'm going to let this cook. And this all, instead of using powdered garlic, I use fresh garlic, which also give it a better taste. Don't let nobody tell you that. If you don't have it, you use what you got. But if you got some green peppers, cut them up. You don't have to cut them up small, because when you look on a can, like I said, when you look on a can, you see the peppers, and they taste good. It's better than the powder. I think so. So I got my onions, I got my green peppers in there. And like I say, I'm not gonna have to drain this that much and stuff. I like cooking spaghetti. I love spaghetti, and it's gonna be good. And then once this cook a little bit, I'm gonna cut my thyme, my basil, and my oregano, and put some fresh in there, and let it cook. It's smelling good, honey. Anytime you add peppers, green peppers, onions, and garlic, you're gonna get a good aroma coming in your nose, honey. It's so good. Now, always, if you can, sometimes you don't have it, don't sweat it. Just use some canned powder, but if you got it, always use it. And when you're making spaghetti, I mean, go in the store and buy you one little green pepper, and you're always going to have onions. You know you can't cook spaghetti without onions and garlic, so you're going to have that. Just add fresh. Always go with fresh. You know what fresh is. Sometime in the can, you don't know what you get. See, oh, they're smelling so good. So I'm going to put a little bit more pepper in here. Put a little more pepper in there. Put a little more salt. I'm eyeballing it. And like I say, I got enough. I'm going to save my vegetable. I might put a little bit of onions in. I'm going to save my vegetable for when I put it in the oven. I cook mine in the oven on 350 because I don't have to watch it, stand in the kitchen and watch, and it's never going to burn in the oven. It might dry out, but it'll never burn. Unless you go somewhere and don't come back. But it's not going to burn. So this is some good meat. No, not much grease because it is 93%. But I say 93 is okay, but to me, I think 83 will be a little better. But spaghetti, and meatloaf. You got the little fat in it, which you need sometimes. But this is good. See, you don't see no water in here. I might not even have to drain this. But you should always drain it because if you don't, when you're cooking, that grease will come to the top. I know y'all notice if you're a cook, you see that grease come up to the top of your spaghetti and you don't want that. So let this cook. Let it cook some. And the reason you're stirring it is, you say I'm taking and stirring this. I think I can say some words, honey. I'm letting this, the reason I'm doing it like this, I'm letting the peppers, the onions, and the garlic, and I'm going through the meat. See, that's why I'm doing. Some people might just cut it on and just throw it in, but I'm working the taste and the vegetables into the meat. Most time I cut mine, I think I put some in here. Most time I cut mine up in the, when I put it in the pot and put it in the oven, but I'm gonna cut a little bit of this in here. This is this is basil. I'm gonna cut a little bit up and put it in here, just a little bit, because it's gonna season. I think this is gonna what you call Italian. It's gonna be good, honey, y'all. Make sure y'all, and basil don't cost that much. You know it doesn't cost that much, so try to just go get some of this thyme, basil, and oregano. You just put it in there, cut it up, so you can see it, and because you can see, you might see spaghetti sauce with basil in that thyme, oregano, and I'm just doing it myself with fresh instead of putting it in a can. I can cut some up. Then I'm gonna stir that up in it. That's good. It's gonna be good, honey. I love spaghetti, some good old spaghetti. I love some good old spaghetti. I hardly ever get it, but when I cook it myself, it be the bomb. I'm not bragging, just telling the truth. Now this is thyme, honey. Sometimes I get them mixed up. Don't judge my head, judge my heart, however they used to say that. And that's true too, because sometimes you say things that you're not trying to say, but I always have it down there. So I'm gonna put this in there, let this cook a little bit, cut my stove up a little bit, let this cook in there to season it, and let it cook in there. Then, like I said, I don't have to strain it that much, but work your vegetables into your meat so your meat can be seasoned. When you cooking spaghetti and stuff, lasagna, you want your meat, the sauce, all of it to taste good. Some people mix that spaghetti up with the next day I do, and then I make baked spaghetti. But when I'm just cooking it, and if it looks better to me, unless you're having baked spaghetti, and then when you're having baked spaghetti, most times you should take and put a piece of some cheese on top of it. But this is, see how this look, y'all? This is good. I smell it, honey. Y'all can't smell it, but it is good. Okay, what I'm going to do is add my sauce first, because the reason I'm doing that, and put this down for this fall. The reason I'm doing that is because I might have too much meat and I don't want to not have enough sauce. So I'm going to put plain tomato sauce in here. I noticed plain tomato sauce. And sometimes I might rinse it out. I save the cans, that's plain tomato sauce. You don't have to do all that, get that ragu and all that different kind when you season it really good. And these are diced petite tomatoes. I'm going to put some of that in there. And sometimes you have to add a little water sometimes. And then I'm putting 2 cans of that in there. See, petite there, cut up. And then I'm going to add my meat. Because I don't know if I got enough. See, I drained the fat of the stuff out. I add my meat now. Add it in here. So I want to, because I don't have that much sauce. And I know I might have enough meat. Then I might just have enough. I don't know. I'm going to stir this up. See them vegetables in there? I'm going to set this here and I'm going to stir it up and see how it looks. Okay. I don't have to cook that much. I guess me and my husband, I don't have to cook that much. Let's see. This is about how, I'm going to add a little bit more meat in here because you don't, see, I got to add some more meat. See, I can always freeze this and make a little sloppy joe or anything with it you want to. See? Okay, see, that's about right. See, and like I said, put your sauce in first and then add your meat. And if you got too much meat, you can always put it in the freezer. Not about enough. Add a little water sometime if you think you don't have enough. So that's looking good, honey. I broke my meat up, and when you get tomatoes, you should always use some tomatoes, but make sure you get the diced one. If you don't get diced, you can always, because diced probably costs more, you can always chop them up yourself. And like I said, you don't have to get that expensive sauce because you already seasoned spaghetti. And that's all they're putting in it. The same thing I added in a can. And it's saving your money. So I'm going to let this. Okay, that's good enough for me. I said, now I'm going to add my seasoning. I'm going to put some more onions in here. Because like I said, I cooked with this, but I'm going to add a little bit more onions in here. I'm going to put all this onion in here. And I'm going to let this cook in the oven. I got the oven on 350. I'm going to let it cook for probably about an hour or two. Let it just cook, all these seasons and cook in it. Like I said, save your vegetables because you want to cook. And you don't like for your spaghetti to be running, so you don't want to put a lot of and sometimes if you don't have enough sauce, you can also use some tomato ketchup if you have to. And so I'm gonna put some garlic in there. And once it's cooked, you're not gonna see these veggies, you're just gonna see the taste of it. And I'm gonna add a little, I already chopped these up. This is basil, thyme, and oregano. Put a little bit in here. I already seasoned it just a little bit. And I'm going to put a couple of bay leaves in here, too. I think I forgot to say bay leaves. I'm going to put maybe 1 bay leaf. You don't want too much. But like I said, this is some Italian spaghetti to me, They use all them spices and stuff. And that's what I like, too, because it tastes good. So I can take and I don't sprinkle cheese on top of my spaghetti because if I want to put cheese on my spaghetti, I put fresh cheese on it. I'm going to put this in there. Season this up good. This is some good spaghetti. It looks so good. And when it cooks, the water come back into it. And I'm going to put a little brown sugar in there, just a little bit. Just put some brown sugar. Like I said, this break up the acid in the tomatoes, and it gives it a taste too. You don't want to put too much sugar in there. I'm going to put some more salt. Put a little salt. And pepper. And that's all my ingredients. The only thing I didn't put in my meat was the bay leaf. And the sauce, of course, the sauce. I'll let this cook in the oven. Cover it real good and put it in the oven and let it cook. And this is going to be so good once it cooks because it is seasoned to the max. And let me see what else I can put in there. I might add a little water. And here, this can get up just a little bit. So I can have some more juice. But if I don't have enough in there, like I said, you can always take and add a little ketchup. Some people do that when they run out of sauce. Normally I have 2 cans of sauce, but this is enough because I wasn't going to cook that much. And this is how you want your juice to be because you're going to take and put it over, spread it over your noodles, and I do not like runny sauce on my noodles because I want to taste my meat. See how good that look, y'all? That looks good. And it got to cook for, like I said, 2 hours or so. And I'm going to get my spoon and taste this. Look, the meat is cooked. Let me see. I think I put a little tap of sugar. That's a little more brown sugar. That's a little bit. You don't want it too sweet. Maybe salt. See, the meat is, I taste that meat is good. Just a little salt, maybe a little pepper. And it's good to go. Ready to go in the oven. And while it's cooking, once it cooks an hour and a half, I'm gonna put my noodles on. I'm gonna clean up my kitchen, then I'm gonna put my noodles on. Like I say. So now this is ready to go in the oven. Let it cook. Like I said, try the oven because you ain't got to, I don't have the word, I don't have that much juice in here. It's going to make some more juice though once it starts cooking. And I don't have to worry about it burning. I can go sit down somewhere and relax. Don't have to come in here and stir it. And let it stay in the oven, I'll say about 2 hours until you think it's cooked. And you taste it. Okay, y'all, I'll get back with you all. Here's my finishing touch. It stayed in the oven for about 2 hours and I taste it. Tastes so good. And I also cooked the brown noodles like I told you I was going to do. And it's better for you. And here it is. It is so good. It is so good. I taste it. And make sure you all subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And share it with somebody else. And help me get some subscribers because I do my best. And I'm not getting enough subscribers. I need them to keep these videos flowing. Thank you for tuning into Mattie's Kitchen.